Go.
Hi, I'm Muhammad Jufrianto from Indonesia. I'm going to talk to you about the importance of using hand movement when we are talking in a formal conversation or in a formal presentation. Well, one of the difficulties faced by the people when they are talking with other people in a formal conversation is using hand movement when they are talking, particularly in the formal situations. They don't know whether they would like to move their hands or no, or even when they have already known about they have to move their hands. But the problem is they still confused. They are still confused about where to put their hands, particularly in the rest positions. There are some notes that we have to consider if we would like to use our hand movement, our hand gesture in real conversations, particularly in a formal situation, as I mentioned before. First is, remember, try to use your hand movement, try to move your hands in your conversation naturally and, of course, appropriately. If we want to know that we can move our hands appropriately, of course, we have to know what we are talking about. So we can move our hands based on the content of our discussion. I'd like to give you one example. There are some people who would like to talk in a real conversations. They would like to talk by hiding their hands at the back, and sometimes also they will talk by holding, folding their arms like this, and even they try to hide their hands in his pocket. And then, can you guess what's exactly the perspective of the audiences when they see the presenter do those kind of activities? Psychologically, if we are talking with other people in a formal conversation or even in a real presentation in a formal situation, those activities like hiding our hands at the back, folding our arms like this, or even hiding our hands in the neck, in the pocket, will bring a negative response among the floors. When you are talking in a formal conversation, in a formal situation, when you are doing your presentation by hiding your hands like this, can you guess that this is really look this situation really look like in a formal situation between an army and a soldier? And then do you know that when an army talks to the soldier, there will be a gap. So it seems like in a formal presentation, when you are talking by hiding your hands at back during the presentation, all of the audiences, you will create a gap, a very long gap between you and the students and the floor. So it means that the message cannot clearly express to the floor, and then the floors will also will sometimes confuse. We are also sometimes confused to ask you a question. So the message cannot be achieved. The second is when you are talking with the people by folding your arms like this. Remember, I suggest you not to do like that one. Why? Because most of the people around the world will judge you that this kind of person who talk by holding their arms like this, they are very arrogant and even ever confident. And then what about like this one? They try to hide their hands like this one. Oh my god. Can you guess? Most of the people will think that during your presentation, you are not sure about what you are talking about. You are not, you don't have any ability to talk the real content of the topic that you are talking. You are trying to hide something that the floor would like to know more. So the problem is, what is exactly the base place of your hands when you are talking? I'd like to give you one example. When you are talking about something related to the sequence of time, you have to move your hands accordingly based on the situation. Let's say you would like to compare two things. Remember, when you are talking something like a number, your hands also would like to show that 1, 2, 3, or something else. Or probably when you are talking about, when you are presenting in the formal situation by using a diagram in your back behind you, or a picture behind you, of course, remember, you have to focus both sides, the floor and also the picture. So what is the best position of your hand in that time? You have to put your hands around your belt like this one. So you will easily move your hands naturally. When you are talking to the floor, you will move your hands like this one, open the palm. It means that you will give a positive response to the floor. Because you are open, you are extrovert, you are open-minded person. And then you will accept any kind of suggestion from the floor. And then, but remember, don't look too much also, just focuses on one side, only the floor, while you have something important also in your bag. You are talking also about the picture. So, my suggestion for this kind of situation, remember, you have to change every time. You have to move naturally when you are talking about the picture. If you think that you are explaining something important part of the pictures or a diagram, remember, you have still a point using your hands to the picture. But of course, your eye contact still have to manage between the picture and also the floor. The next important thing that we still have to consider is, remember, moving your hands naturally and also freely doesn't mean that you are free to do it over and over. You are moving every time your hands. Remember, don't do it. Why? Because it will be too overconfident and all of the floors will get tired seeing you. And then, what happened? The result is the floor will just count your hands movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the message cannot be got by the floor. So, as a conclusion of my presentation is, remember, if you want to use your hand movement, okay, just use it. But remember, you have to use it appropriately and correctly based on what you are talking about. So the message that you are talking will be achieved by the floor. Thank you very much. Goodbye.